Week 8 of the Indycar Fixed Oval Series brings us to the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. This 1.5-mile D-shaped dog-legged tri-oval has high banks and 4 asymmetrical corners. Turns 1 and 4 open up onto the dogleg, and turns 2 and 3 come off of a straight backstretch. These different profiles will keep the drivers guessing, as they have 3 usable lanes through both sets of corners. Follow this guide for some tips and tricks on how to navigate this fast, high-banked speedway this week in the IndyCar Fixed Oval Series. In qualifying, I found that you'd want to use a 6 front bar and the loosest rear bar you can manage. Here, I only used a 2 rear bar, and I felt that the car did fine. More rear bar will make the car rotate more and allow you to turn the wheel less, which could increase your lap time. However, if the car gets too loose or snaps out beneath you, it will be difficult for you to regain any of that lost time. Like with all 1.5 mile speedways, you're going to use your first 2 laps, your get up to speed lap and your green flag lap, to get up to speed. There simply isn't enough time to get to maximum speed to make your green flag lap a flying lap. On this lap, just focus on not hitting the wall and carrying as much speed as possible by running the high side through turns 3 and 4. I dialed in a little bit of positive weight jacker, about +4, to help me get through the corners here. Aim for the red AstroTurf, then the green AstroTurf, and try to get your left sides as close to the blue line as possible. This line is a little thicker than normal, so if you put your left sides on it, it might tug you to the apron and spin you out. Get as close as you can without stepping over the line. Be careful not to cut through the AstroTurf. That will get you a slowdown and invalidate your lap time. You'll find a 24.2 this week will be fast. You might see people on the pole as low as a 24.1 or a 24.15. When running in traffic, it's important to find clean air whenever possible. Up ahead, you can see a bunch of leaders trying to navigate slower traffic. I'm running in third and trying to capitalize. You'll use 6th gear when you have slipstream on the straightaways, but it's important to go where they're not in the corners. Don't use the tools I use here. I was experimenting, and I think that a 5 front bar and a 5 rear bar will work better. Watch out on the exit of turn 4 and on turn 2, as the banking draws away from the corner. The car will naturally want to push to the outside wall, so you'll need to be careful to not slam into the side of it like I did here. I would recommend mapping the damage report button so you can know if your car has damage or not after having small scrapes like that one. I try to pit to get out of this slow lap traffic, but I have new pedals and the lapper threw off my marker, so I speed just a little bit. Try to exit the corner on the banking in the middle or the apex of the turn and start braking there as well. Just brake a little more than I did and you won't get busted for speeding. You'll see here my experimental set did not do well for tire wear. I had about 79% wear in the front and 86% wear in the rear. After I serve my penalty, I get off of pit road by dialing out my positive weight jacker and putting in a little bit of negative so I can hustle on the apron without spinning out. Try not to use the banked part of the apron that's closest to the blue line. Instead, stay down by the first seam by the yellow line. The backstretch is very bumpy, so transition onto the racing surface and off of the apron as quickly as you can to avoid any unwanted turbulence. When running with other cars, the most important thing is to find clean air. If you're the leader, you're going to wrap the bottom. If you're second place, you're probably going to hug their right side pod. If you're running third like I am here, go wherever the 2 cars in front of you aren't. Usually that means putting your right sides up by the board, or perhaps sticking your nose between the 2 if the second place car has chosen to go to the outside. It will be very difficult to pass for the lead from third, as the front 2 cars will usually be taking the fastest 2 lines around the track. In these scenarios, just save your stuff and hope they burn up a little more than you, and that you can take advantage later in the run. Those are my tips and tricks this week for Charlotte. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below.